Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast rewind show where we look forward to looking back at some of the last times that we played this weekend's upcoming opponents. Hello, my name is Craig Fimbo. Welcome back to the Rewind show. After a hiatus, I think we'll call it, Dave, of the Palace and Bournemouth games. Don't blame us. You can blame how rubbish Bournemouth were 23, 24 years ago, because we unfortunately didn't have a game to chat about. And so joining me as ever, here's Dave for your first instalment of your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, possibly Friday this week. Blue Monday build-up as we welcome the Toon to the town. David Diamond, how are you going? You've got our flagship later. I know we're a little bit out of sync, but at last something positive.
Yeah, it'll be my first one because the other victory this season I was away, so I missed that one. But so it'll be kind of hopefully a bit more chipper this evening, deservedly so. But looking forward to talking about these two, as you quite rightly said. No Palace and no Bournemouth because of their terrible performance all those years ago. And also, interesting enough, no Wolves, of course, because we've never played Wolves in the Premier League. Obviously, Bournemouth we haven't, but never played Wolves. So that was an interesting one as well. So, but we certainly have Newcastle. And, quite different. Short period of time between these games, but two quite sort of different narratives between the two, really.
Yeah, 100%. And as I say, and the way that we look at these, it's going to be, from our perspective, it's going to be the right way around, because we're going to start on a low and end on a high, as we often tend to do in these rewind shows, because by virtue of the rules that we've imposed upon ourselves, we have to look at the last time. Yeah, that's it. And it's invariably not the greatest season that we've ever had in the Premier League. So Newcastle United, obviously, another solid club historically, played them 8 times, I think, in the Premier League. Not in our first year, because we'd obviously left them behind in the second division following our promotion into the first Premier League.
Oh, that was we couldn't talk about this one, but that was another good game, wasn't it? In that promotion year, the 3-2 game. Oh,
Gavin Peacock game, wasn't it?
Gavin Peacock brace, wasn't it? Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, that season when we got promoted as champions, no need for the playoffs. Newcastle finished 20th in the second division, and only 4 points off relegation.
Wowzers! I didn't realise that.
And next season, they won their first 11 games and got promoted as champions, 96 points. Kevin Keegan was in charge, and it was I think he's putting together the crux, the nub of that that Newcastle team. Rob Lee, Barry Venison, Andy Cole actually played for them in that season as
Andy
well.
Cole, Gary Speed, I suppose. Getting onto that, no, exactly, yeah.
Steve Howie, Cernicek, those sort of guys. Kevin Sheedy, I think, played for them as well.
Kevin Sheedy, what a left foot! Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they went from quite low down to getting promoted the following season. Anyway, we happened across them again in December 2001. Not a million miles away from the date we're looking at right now. The 9th of December 2001. Sunday, the 9th of December 2001. Dave, why were we playing on a Sunday?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know. Hang on. Because it was my oldest son's 3rd birthday the day before. No?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. It was actually because we played Inter Milan away.
My midweek. God! Of course we had. Yeah. Crikey, yeah, we had. Would that have been the Thursday?
Yeah, I think it would have been
the Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Incredible, isn't it?
So we played Inter Milan away on the Thursday, and this was the following home game.
Wow! Didn't appreciate that when I was doing my little bit of research. I missed that one, but obviously, of course, it was. Yeah.
And I think the same day we'd been drawn against either Exeter or Dagenham and Redbridge in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. So that sort of places it for for everybody.
Everyone's timeline. Yeah.
Another thing that will place it is obviously what was number 1 at the time, and it's this time of year. Everyone's getting used to getting the Christmassy feel around them. People start putting up their decorations in their trees, wrapping their
Yeah, I know.
presents.
This is not. It's not going to be a Christmas record, is it?
No, it's not.
I have no idea. Was it still? We've done this before. It wasn't still Kylie, was it?
No,
No,
it was
no.
it was Daniel Bedingfield. I've got to
Oh,
get through this, or
oh
got to
yeah,
get
yeah,
through.
okay, yeah, yeah. What was that? Christmas? That Christmas was it? Bloody
Yeah,
hell! Yeah,
you
remember,
think?
good tune. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think they
Do,
didn't
do,
like
do, do,
stick on
do,
the
do.
sleigh bells at the end just to make it a little bit more,
Yeah, just
more
for a bit
Christmas.
of yeah, they probably recorded it a previous May, didn't they, or something like that? But yeah, oh yeah, good, good. Yeah, Daniel Bedingfield, good song. Yeah.
Bit of effect. Right, form wise, we had lost our previous 3 home league games, and I say we just lost a winter in the UEFA
Oosh.
Cup, and the
Oof.
week before that we'd lost 4-1 to Newcastle in the League Cup, which
Yes,
was
we had
Darren Bent, the Darren Bent game.
Darren Bent's first town goal, wasn't it?
Yes,
Did he come in and score, or did he start and score? I remember him going through and
yeah,
notching one in
he
in a
definitely
Bent
scored, didn't he?
style. Yeah.
So we're out of cups, sorry, out of the League Cup, out of the
Ugh.
UEFA Cup, and not
Ugh.
winning many in the league, as the league table will show us. We'd only won 1 game, and that was the Finidi match back in
Yeah, I
August.
think we'd won one in hadn't won in 13 coming up to this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully, as a result of yesterday's result at Wolverhampton Wanderers, we have increased doubled our wins in the Premier League come December this time round. So we've got no comparisons to make
Ah,
whatsoever with that season.
we just hopefully we'll just go on that 8-match winning run shortly. Anyway.
Cover star of the week, Dave. This
Oosh.
is a striker who had his debut. This is his debut season. He signed on a free transfer. George Burley liked the look of him in a European tournament that he'd seen him play in. Signed him in the summer, possibly or tail end of the season before, and we were just
Um,
dripping him in here and there.
It's Pablo, isn't it? Pablo, isn't it? Oh,
He's
player. What a player! Yeah, and what a lovely guy as well. Anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm sure you can still find it on YouTube. I had a chat with him pretty much COVID times, I think it was. Christ, is that 4 or 5 years ago now? But yeah, absolutely lovely, unassuming, most modest guy out there. Can't believe how much he's pretty much loved at Portman Road.
Yeah.
And quite a nice. I don't know if you've seen it. He comes back a couple of years ago. That's on YouTube. I think I saw that a little while ago when Matt Holland shows him round and he meets McKenna and the coaching staff, and he's there with his boys. Actually, yeah, it's really
Yes.
nice. Again, he comes across so humble, but I loved him. What a player! Yeah, one of the best when he's back to goal.
Yes, he's sticking his bottom into
Brilliant,
central
brilliant.
defenders, wasn't he? In terms of the lineups, Dave, we'll look at ourselves first. Went back to a 4-4-2. We'd gone a little bit defensive understandably, for the Inter Milan game. But we'd gone back to our normal 4-4-2. 3 changes from that Milan match. Naylor, Magilton, and Bramble had been dropped or removed from the squad.
Yeah, a bit
Bramble had
harsh. Titus Bramble, who was taught by, who was schooled by Christian Vieri, wasn't he? So perhaps a bit harsh to drop him on the balance of that, perhaps. But
dropped, and indeed from the subs bench. Wasn't even on the subs
no,
bench.
no, yeah, ruthless, absolutely ruthless. No, look, we've covered games, obviously, many games. Well, say many games, quite a few, obviously, from this season, most of them so far, and a sort of standard sort of side without, obviously, Marcus Stewart's not there.
Yeah, as I say, yeah. So Armstrong and Bent came in, and
Yeah.
John McGreal came back into central defence alongside Mark Venus. In terms of Newcastle, let's pop their team up as well. Yeah, so we got Kieran Dyer was on the bench, and obviously we'll look at another match in a sec, Dave. But as we spoke about before we started recording, that's not a bad front two you've got of Craig Bellamy and Alan Shearer, both in
So
their
I think in between the game that we're going to talk about and this one, they I think they signed Bellamy and possibly Lauren Robert as well. But yeah, if you look at that side, that's certainly the front 6 are quite useful on.
Yeah, and that's
and experienced as well.
The Newcastle midfield as well, isn't it? That people can remember: Lauren Robert, Rob Lee, Gary
Yeah,
Speed, Nobby
yeah.
Solano.
Rob Lee, sort of box to box, would run all day, wouldn't he? Gary Speed, God bless him, just a lovely, lovely footballer. Solano, out and out winger, and yeah, Robert, absolute hammer of a left foot, didn't he? Crikey. Yeah, always a good front two. Always like that Bellamy and Shearer combination. I had Shearer, the actual battering ram, bloody goal scorer, and Bellamy was just quick and horrible, and Yeah, good actually. I know he played for them
Sadly.
up. Yeah, I know he played for them up the road, but I always liked Bellamy because no matter how much stick crowd game anyone gave, he always gave as good as he got. I respected him for that. Yeah,
A bit of a Jamie Vardy sort of character, wasn't he?
bit of a Jamie
Not
Vardy
but not
Marmite.
not a million miles away from the sort of player as well.
No,
Um, in terms of the match, unfortunately, we lost it 1-0. But I've read a couple of match reports as well as watching the goal that Rich sent through to us. And both match reports, completely independent of each other, speak of the whinging of Craig Bellamy, to refer back to what you were just talking about. Oh, dear.
yeah, no, yeah.
But after 20 minutes, we basically conceded the goal. And it's a horrible, rubbish
Oh.
goal, isn't it, Dave? Jesus Christ. We want to give Nobby Solano a bit more time on the edge of the box, don't we?
Well, the ball's sort of bobbling around the edge of our box, and is it Solano that sort of like hooks it over his head? I don't know if it is. I can't really see it properly. And I think it's Robert who gets the ball kind of at an angle, and it's one of those ones where Serini makes quite a good block, but just parries it out, and our defenders are just AWOL, aren't there? There's no one there, and Solano just bundles it in from a few yards. It's a horrible goal, really, isn't it? Horrible, horrible goal, which probably reflected the kind of form we were in.
Yeah. It just, we've spoken about it before about this team and this season. They just looked all at sea at the back. I say, so it was Solano on the edge of the box. He has time to
Hooks it.
miscontrol it and then juggle with it for a bit and then hook it over his shoulder.
Yeah, and I think it's Robert who's proud. I assumed it was. Can't quite see, but on the left there. Yeah, that's Serini as he could makes pretty good block. Yeah, stands up, makes a good block, but there's just no defenders there, and sort of Solano has tiptoed his way in and just bundles it in. Yeah, horrible goal, and yeah, I think we'd probably looking at when that date was. Yeah, we'd probably have another defeat to come, and then the game comes up where we start our little run, the away game against Spurs. I think a couple of weeks after this one. So we had this game and another week of pain.
Yeah, and I say very similar to we spoke about the Nottingham Forest, one of the Nottingham Forest goals or performances in the last Rewind show, where they were just defenders just standing around looking at each
At
other
the
and
4-1 game. The Collyball.
yeah, shrugging their shoulders and pointing. That's very similar to both relegation seasons had a very similar look
Yeah,
and
and
feel about them.
I mean, when you look at their front, I mean, it don't even have to work hard for the goal. That's just a frustrating thing about this goal because look at their front two. I mean, we've already said about it. Look at it. They have nothing to do with it. And then, yeah, Solano. I think there's another bit of this game where I think Dyer makes a reappearance for the first time in a while. I think this might be, if it's not his first. He was obviously on the bench, but he comes on. If it's not his first game back, I think it's one of his first appearances after, yeah, one of his, obviously, Kieran Dyer, one of his long-term injuries.
Yeah, but in terms of us, we didn't really test them too much. We had a couple of penalty appeals, but nothing particularly.
Yeah, they go on to finish. Newcastle, I think, go on to finish fourth that season in Champions League. I think.
Yeah. Oh, and along similar lines, there were say I read two separate reports, and basically they were both saying that over 90 minutes we probably deserved better. Newcastle looked nothing more than ordinary, but essentially we just couldn't create or score enough to take advantage, which has some echoes of things that we're experiencing at the moment.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And again, I suppose you can as in the well, certainly as the Palace game and other Forest game, you concede him first against these teams, and it's tough.
Yeah. So in terms of what the league table, God, we're going to look at the league table. Look like after the match, didn't improve. Having
oh my God, oh Christ, Leicester might have won that day. I don't know, but yeah, this it's horrible, isn't it? Yeah, cut adrift. So for all those out there watching it with a degree of pessimism, look, we're 3 points. We're 3 points better, having played. We played 16 games. We played 15, haven't we? We played 15.
At the moment, I think it is. Yeah.
1-2, drawn 6, lost 7. Is that right? Is that 15? 1-2, drawn 6. Yeah. So hey, we're 3 points better off. I think at this stage with a game less, and we're third from bottom, not bottom. So there you go.
Yeah. So it's no, it's 16, isn't it? We played 2-6-8.
Is it 2-6-8? Is it?
Yeah. Anyway, regardless,
I think you are right. I think it is 2-6-8, not 7. Yeah, it's better. It's better. Yeah.
And that's the season. And looking at towards the top of the league, Arsenal would eventually win the league by 7 points.
Wow.
So
yeah,
they went on a bit of a run themselves.
Yeah, they had a great run after. From then on, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, second half, and we had a better. We leapfrogged for what it's worth, Leicester and Derby, and finished 18th, but still.
It's such a frustration that season because Christ, I And we've said about it. We've covered the Liverpool home game. We've covered the Southampton home game where it just all got away from us after those, didn't it?
Yeah, sadly. Anyway, that's enough of that one. We're going to talk about a win in the next half of the show after we've heard from our sponsors.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Thank you, Mikey, and others. In terms of other quick shout-outs to our friends at All About Hearing, Suffolk-based hearing care professionals, 2 locations in Ipswich. They can help you out. If you have any personal hearing needs, allabouthearing.co.uk. You can book an appointment online, etc., etc. Get all the info on them. And also, One Stop Badges does exactly what it says. You need any pin badges, etc., etc. Have a look at One Stop Badges. Thanks to everyone for your help and support. Thank you, Dave, for showing Exhibit A. Right, moving on to a few months earlier than the previous match. We're moving on back to April the 14th, Saturday, April the 14th, 2001. So yeah, only 8 months before. But we'll look at the lineups in a second. They have a slightly different tinge to them. Anyway, number 1 in the charts, Dave, straight in at number 1, knocking your favourites, Hearsay, off the top spot. Right. This person was a member of a very successful band which sold over 100 million records worldwide.
Robbie Williams?
Yep, flip the gender, and we're in the right ballpark.
Spice Girls?
Correct. So you got 1 in 5 chance now, Dave. Is it 5? Is there 5? Yes, there was.
Here we go. I don't know, but I would say either Jerry Halliwell or Emma Bunton, and okay. I would say I don't know. 2001. Jerry Halliwell.
Do you want to have another guess?
Emma Bunton.
Correct. Yes, it was Emma Bunton.
Which one? Oh,
her only number 1. What took you so long?
Oh, so, yeah, I can remember that.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Took you so long. Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, she was number 1 in the charts. And we ourselves were on a bit of a run, having beaten West Ham 1-0 away, and then Southampton 3-0 away. We drew midweek against Liverpool 1-1. So let me get the table up. This is much more like it.
Hello.
Liverpool were below us, as I say. So we'd drawn 1-1 with them and managed to keep them below us in the league going into this weekend. Newcastle were down in 13th and hadn't won in their previous 6. So we were the form team of the 2.
We just didn't. Again, we've spoken about this before. We just didn't draw many games, did we, that season? Remember, we were talking about what season were we talking about last time out? Could have been the 92-93 when we drew absolutely loads, didn't we? Yeah. But we would it was just win or nothing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, so the top 8, we'd drawn the most by at least 2 on the top 8 teams.
48 and scoring, reasonable. Yeah, just happened that season, didn't it? Incredible when you think about it. And there's good commentary post match on that as well, isn't there? Which we'll get to.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, 4th in the Premier League. Or Premiership as it was back then?
Premiership? Yeah, Man United looking a bit formidable that season, weren't they?
Yeah. 13 points clear. I think. Yeah. I think we'll call that one done and dusted, shall we? By
yeah. They were looking a bit formidable. That's for sure. Yeah.
In terms of the program, the cover star of our program, and actually he'll probably double up. We had a cult hero in Pablo for the first program. We're going to double up now. A beautiful man, even now, 24 years on.
It's got to be Martin Reusser, isn't it? There he is. Yeah, look at that.
And actually, he went on to have a decent game in this game as well. So yeah, in terms of our lineup, a very familiar looking lineup, albeit Herman was playing centre half alongside McGreal. Chris Makin was left back and Fab was right back.
What was interesting about that was that both Makin playing left back and Venus and Clapham were on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know if there were niggles around because they hadn't played Liverpool midweek.
Yeah, maybe. No. Yeah, it could be. But yeah, interesting one that. But again, as I said before, not too much change not too much change at all that season, really.
No, so it's just that versatility of Chris Makin, wasn't it? Who was equally adept, right back, left back,
good signing. Yeah,
just did a job, didn't he? That's literally what he did.
Steady, wasn't he? Very steady. Good defender. Yeah. Not the greatest, I would say, going forward, but that wasn't how he played then, was it?
No, and it wasn't what we needed either, was it? He was exactly what we needed at that point in time, just a 7 out of 10 fullback.
Proper out and out fullback, defender. Yeah, good player.
In terms of Newcastle, who probably gave Chris Makin the bird, their supporters, I would imagine, with his links to their his friends down the road.
So who have we got there?
We don't. Well, who we do not see, as we spoke about in the previous game, Dave, was Shearer and Bellamy up front. They've, should we say, a slight downgrade on Shearer and Bellamy, with all due respect to two Premier League players.
I think probably so. And these are the two that obviously Sir Bob used to have trouble with, didn't he? There was the famous quote, Shola Amiobi, Shola, we know Bobby has trouble with names. What does he call you? Carl Court. So we obviously had issues that day, but have we got Aaron Hughes, I think there, Speed, Solano, Standard. Is that Clarence Acuna, I think his name was,
Yeah.
Wayne Quinn? Is that Wayne the left?
Yes, I think it was, yes.
Wayne Quinn. Yes. Warren Barton. Again, experience there. Shay Given, bloody hell. Yeah, so no, a definite, I would say, no disrespect to Carl and Shola, but a definite definite upgrade the following season, you'd think.
And as I said at the very beginning, we've played Newcastle 8 times, so therefore we had a choice of 3 games, because we always do the last one we played these people at home or away. Why would you choose this match in particular?
Yeah, it was emotional. It was emotional, Craig, wasn't it? I'm sure you were there. It was the first competitive return to Portman Road of Bobby Robson, I think, as it would have been, but Sir Bobby Robson. Yeah, I remember it being very, very emotional that day. It was brilliant. He was back. He'd been back, and you probably know this, a few seasons before. I think it brought back Porto for a Mick Stockwell testimonial, I think. But this was, other than that, this was his first. And it obviously, I assume he'd been back to Portman Road in the director's box. This is the first time you see him walking down the touchline with an opposing team. So yeah, I can remember just quite emotional, the ovation he got, the love obviously people had for him, and he had, well, he says it afterwards as well. Yeah, really, brilliant to see. And when we were riding on such a high as well, it was just great day really all round.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. If you look at a very brief look back at his career after he left us, obviously to England and then over to Portugal, the 2 clubs in Portugal, Lisbon and Porto, Barca obviously, and PSV in between, etc.
Yeah, superb, and universally loved, and everywhere he went, wasn't he? You hear these players talk about him, and even his staff, the likes of Mourinho and people. Just what a man.
It's quite interesting actually. The Porto fans used to call him Bobby 5-0 or Bobby 5-0 because they won so many. Bobby 5-0 because they won so many games 5-0.
I love that. I didn't know that. Bobby, is that right? I love
Bobby
that.
5-0.
Yeah, superb. And even when you hear, people like, the greats of the game, Ronaldo, CR9, talk about him, it's just, it's brilliant, isn't it?
And Mourinho, so he took under his wing at 2 or 3 of the clubs he was at.
Was his interpreter at first, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Brilliant stuff. In terms of the match itself, a completely different chalk and cheese performance to the one a few months later, albeit with a very similar sort of team.
What went wrong?
Yeah, and it was a Martin Reusser masterclass down the left. Looking at the highlights, I'm sure you looked at as well, Dave. Just the quality of the crosses he was putting in, shots he was
Two-footed as well. I know I always bang on about it, but two-footed player, very, very rare, wasn't he? Good kind of. I mean, he predominantly was better coming off the left, I think. But yeah, lovely player. We had that nickname Rolls Roycer, and he was at times just silky Rolls Royce of a player, wasn't he? Great player. Great signing, really. Yeah, he was kind of having a sort of one-man battle with Shay Given for a while in this game, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was a
I
great keeper, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, God knows how many games he ended up playing for Newcastle in the Premier League. But as you rightly say, if it wasn't a cross, it was a shot that he taken from that left-hand side. And interestingly enough, half-time, George Burley switched his fullbacks, so put Wilness on the left to actually improve our attacking down the left-hand side even more so with Roycer and Wilness rather than Roycer and Macon. So we'd obviously spotted a weakness.
That was an odd one, wasn't it, then? So there must have been an issue with either Venus or certainly Clapham. There must have been, because, tactical switch, you wouldn't have played Wilness on the left, would you? He'd just surely brought Clapham in. Oh, yeah, strange one. Wow.
Yeah. But despite us playing well and, I say, peppering Shay Given, it took us till 75th, 76th minute to get the only goal of the game.
Yeah, good corner. Great left foot Venus, didn't he? Vino corner, but Jack Clark-like corner, really, wasn't it? But no, Venus had an absolute wand of a left foot, and it's a good corner. Haridason pretty much unchallenged, just inside the 6-yard box, and it's a classic, isn't it? That back in the day, there's no zonal marking then. You had, you might have done, but you certainly had defenders on the post then, and poor old Nobby Solano, who wasn't a defender, sneakily, he tried to do it very sneakily, didn't he? But, you don't get those things past Mike Dean, do you? Good God, no. And, handled on the line by the right-hand post, and quite rightly a penalty and a straight red.
Yeah, Mike Dean could not get that card out of his pocket any quicker.
He was like a bloody quick on the draw, wasn't he? He was like, absolutely.
But dispatched by Marcus Stewart, just about.
Expect nothing else, really. Yeah, I think looking back at that, I mean, he hits it with great power, doesn't he? But Given gets a bit of that, quite a good bit of that, actually, does he? But it's the power. It's one of these penalties where, the keeper gets, if a little bit softer, the keeper perhaps gets a stronger arm to it, but he sort of hammers it and sort of goes pretty much top left with a little deflection off Given. But yeah, very much deserved. And as we kind of did that season, we just saw games out, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Actually, some of the highlights that we got sent through from Rich. What you noticed there about Stewart is just his link-up play as well. People talk about his finishing and his calmness under pressure, one-on-ones and penalties and stuff, but
because he wasn't
dropping deep and laying it off and bringing it
clever, because he wasn't. I don't associate him with being pacey, do you? He didn't. Maybe it was his running style. Maybe he was one of these players that perhaps he was deceptively quick. But again, speed of thought with him and the first couple of yards is where is out goal scorer, and that's where they are. But you're right, he's just general play. And in this game there was 2 or 3 points where you think, wow, you forget just how good he was at that. Just a great. Well, that season, just a great all-round season, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the league, up to third in the Premier League on goal.
Oh my God!
Difference
and hang on. Man U have just decided to extend their lead to 16 points. Then, okay. Look, I mean, Christ, incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible.
And as one of the reports says, another 3 points nearer a return to Europe. On an afternoon that Town fans showed Bobby Robson they hadn't forgotten all the European nights he'd
brilliant.
brought.
Yeah, well, I can remember it really clearly. It was brilliant. Absolutely, yeah. Emotional. It's been emotional, and it was, yeah.
And there was a nice quote actually, Dave. I don't know if you heard to the very end of those highlights. They interviewed Bobby Robson at the end of it, and he said, good luck to George and to Ipswich. It's the love of my life.
Yeah, no, I made a note of that here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the love of my life. Absolutely brilliant. Hope they finish third. They deserve all they get. Absolutely super. And a very, very interesting quote from George Burley afterwards, where he says, he says about Sir Bobby, Sir Bobby, came down here as a kid and gave me the chance and taught me all I knew, type of words like that. But then he goes on to say, look, we're doing really well, incredible. He said, because, obviously, 20 years since I played under Bobby in the top division. And, well, things have certainly moved things are unrecognisable in the top league now, 20 years later. So yeah, we're just sort of trying to get to grips with 20 odd years further on from that, really, aren't we?
Yeah, fast forwarding 20 years on the Rewind show.
A bit of
So
foresight.
in terms of so as we all know, we finished fifth. Liverpool would jump above us and Leeds to finish third. Newcastle would finish not far from they are. They finished 11th, I think. But
was that this season Liverpool won like every single cup they entered virtually? Was that this season?
well, they did it like the treble cup thing. Rather than
was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, someone. Yeah, not sure, but yeah, had a mad Europa. Would it have been UEFA still? Europa would have been UEFA. I don't know. Possibly would it have been then. I can't remember where it would have been, wouldn't it? Against was it Alveyas, was it? Do you remember that?
No, Dave, I don't remember that. No,
maybe I'm totally talking out my
if anyone
backside.
can remember either the UEFA, the Europa, the European Cup Winners' Cup from 2001,
it would have been UEFA because I'm sure when Town the next season were in it, it was still UEFA, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was. Yeah. Anyway, no, again, it was good. And yeah, nice narrative this week to talk about those two games. It was brilliant. You know, the one with Sir Bob back.
Definitely, and some hope in that league table that the impossible can happen. So we've as Dave said at the beginning, we've started our run now. So fingers crossed, the next time we chat, it'll be about Arsenal, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But we'll see what we can find in terms of positive results away at Arsenal in the Premier League years, and if not, we'll get Dave to maybe go a little bit further back.
Yeah, there might have to be something dredged from the vault, I think, for some good news on that score. But yeah,
wonderful stuff, brilliant. Thanks very much, Dave. As ever, thank you for your help. Thank you everyone for watching, listening. As ever, if you can, please just give us a like, a subscribe, a thumbs up on whichever format or platform you're happening to watch or listen to us on. As I say, we'll be back this week. Tuesday, I think Mikey and Ben will be doing their predictions. Or sorry, Wednesday that'll be. Thursday or possibly Friday, the pre-match show will be back. And then, Sunday night, as ever, will be the Newcastle Flagship for hopefully an undelapped town, a de-delapped town.
De-delapped. Lacking. Yeah, that could be tricky, but we'll see.
We'll see. Wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you in a bit. This has been Blue Monday and Ipswich Town podcast.